A young man with the name Shan charges at a trio of griffin monsters and then easily slays them with his sword. The adventurers around him are amazed and call him the swift rookie for his strength. Suddenly, the young man feels a painful sensation and his body gets wrapped with a dark flame energy. He gets horrified to see his status window notifying him that his level has decreased by 1. He feels frustrated that no matter how much he fights, his level keeps going down. He reviews that a skill is a special ability obtained by people upon reaching level 50. He cites the example that even a novice can turn into a master swordsman if granted a sword-related skill, or a master magician if granted a magic-related skill. Knowing this, he desperately accumulated experience points until he reached level 50. The day came that he reached this level, only for him to learn that his skill was called Level Down. At present, Shan is in a dungeon being beaten up by another young man named Gaza. The others in the party watch on with glee as their lord Gaza beats him up. They think that the swift rookie is a fool for talking back at their lord. Shan recalls how 5 years ago, everyone praised him as the swift rookie for his unprecedented growth. Unfortunately, he gained the skill of Level Down, which makes his level drop continuously every time he fights, to the point that he has fallen to the strength of just an average man. He remembers all the people who used to admire him rushed to leave him and began to prosecute him instead. At present, Gaza, who is still beating him up, is the ringleader of his prosecutors. Shan is frustrated by the situation since his dream was to become like his father, who was known to protect people and was called a hero for it. To fix the problem, Shan traveled all over to find a solution, protecting innocent people along the way by fighting off monsters. Those whom he protected came to admire him. To this day, he does not feel like he has made any progress since Gaza is able to beat him up without any effort. Gaza tells him that this is what he gets for being admired as the swift rookie. Shan talks back that the only reason he hates him is that he neglected leveling up. This only leads the bully to punch his face. Despite all that he has endured from his bully, Shan's face is filled with bravery and resolve while facing him. This only angers Gaza, who uses his summoning magic to summon a pack of wolves to kill him. The bully smiles and wonders if he can even handle simple blood wolves with his weak strength. Shan tells him to stop this as he is worried that other adventurers might get caught up with the monsters. Gaza simply kicks his face for his comment. Gaza tells his companions not to tell anyone about what he is doing, and they gladly agree. The trio of villains casually walks away from the beaten-up Shan while talking about picking up girls. Gaza warns Shan before he leaves that there is no use running since he has already summoned a lot of monsters all over the dungeon. The pack of blood wolves approaches Shan. The young man checks his status and sees that it is pointless to fight since his level 1 will only drop more. He runs away instead. Everywhere he goes, he needs to hide from the goblins and wolves that Gaza summoned. He hears a woman scream. He takes a look to see a young woman being cornered by blood wolves. Shan wonders if he has the option to intervene, considering he is only at level 1. He decides with hesitation that the better option would be to wait until someone else helps her. As the wolves get closer to the woman, he tells himself that it is the right call. Despite this, he still rushes in front of the woman to protect her. He tells himself that he can still beat the monster despite his levels, since he already has experience fighting countless monsters. He asks that the lady escape while he faces them down. The blood wolves jump at him. He notices that their bellies are exposed and so slices every one of them in quick succession. The girl is astounded by his strength. There are 2 wolves left, but his status notifies him that his level decreased by 2. He feels intense pain inside him until his status widow notifies him that he is now at level -1. Seeing his level break his spirit, he mourns how he can no longer protect the girl and other people, just like his father, and regrets that he got saddled with a terrible skill. He then tells himself that he should not give up since his dad would not give up in the same situation. He picks his spirit back up and swears that he will protect everyone until the day he dies. His strong spirit transforms his hair white. With a clenched fist, he says he does not care that his level has fallen below 0. He stands tall as the wolves dash towards him. He swears that at the very least, he can still protect the girl until the very end. Suddenly, he hears a voice within him, praising his sense of justice. They tell him that he has done well to reach the state he is in now. Bright light engulfs Shan's body. He is surprised to see that the wolves have stopped moving. His status window informs him that he has been freed from the curse because of reaching a negative level, and that he now wields the power of the world's reverse side. He sees his hand get wrapped with black flame energy as he wonders what this means for him. The status window informs Shu that he can now use the error skill called Black Flame, and that he can get further error skills with error points. Shan can't get a grip on the information he is learning, as well as why time has stopped. A shirtless, well-built man with white hair appears before him. Shan recognizes him as the voice from before. The mystery man says that he will give him a quick rundown, and then transform reality into an abstract-looking place of thought. He tells Shan that the world has been cursed, all thanks to the level system. Shan does not understand what he means when the level system makes people stronger. The man elaborates that the curse is that humans can't get any higher than the limit of level 99, and that he has been free from that curse, giving him the power that exists beyond the world's constraints. The man explains that the lower his level drops, the more he'll reclaim the power from the other side of the world. Once he does, he says his memories of his past will return. Suddenly, time starts up again, and Shan returns to the dungeon while the wolves are in the middle of pouncing at him. He does not know what to do, but realizes he needs to do something to stop the wolves from getting closer. He points his palm at them and calls upon black flame magic. Out of his palm, black fire comes out to blast the monsters. Shan is surprised at seeing the wolves dead on the floor from what he has done. He wonders why he somehow feels like he has used this power before, despite knowing this is the first time he has used it. The girl is amazed to see him wipe out a pack of blood wolves with a single shot. Suddenly, Gaza and his men return because of the explosion they heard. They are shocked to see that Shan is still alive. Despite the woman explaining that Shan took his wolves out, Gaza can't believe her. The woman does not care and demands that he explain why he let so many monsters loose. Shan is impressed that she is standing up to Gaza despite his reputation. The girl then smiles at Shan and calls him her lord as she thanks him. Shan insists that she does not need to call him her lord, but Liz made up her mind that he is her lord. Gaza is starting his anger against Shan again because seeing girls fawn after him is something he sees regularly. Shan checks his status and confirms he is at level -1. He checks more of his stats and wonders why he is so strong despite seeing how every stat says he is supposed to be weak. He remembers how he used black fire magic and how it is at a level he has never seen before. He is confused about everything, but is glad that he has become one step closer to being like his father. Everyone then feels a mysterious, strong presence. They look behind them to see that a giant void dragon has appeared. Shan asks Gaza if it came from him, but he is just as confused as the rest of them. Shan remembers a vague memory of facing the dragon before. He does not know when this happened, and simply remembering him causes him a headache. He knows of the dragon somehow, and it makes him wonder if the mysterious man was right to say that he has forgotten things. The dragon roars and lights up. In an instant, the blood wolves that were taken out before get revived. The dragon blasts Gaza with fire, so he defends himself with magic. Shan tells him to run instead, but the fire engulfs Gaza. This leads Gaza to age rapidly until he dies. Shan realizes that the dragon's power is the manipulation of lifespans, including reverting creatures into their past selves. Liz pulls out her sword and tells Shan to stand back. She says that it is her turn now to save his life. Shan warns her that something is off, and that he has never even heard of a creature that can manipulate time. The dragon blasts its fire at the girl. Before it reaches her, Shan runs in front of her. He gets engulfed in fire instead. The man endures the energy. His status window informs him of an error, and that his power is transcending the laws of nature. Shan's system goes to auto mode and goes into the process of neutralizing all hostile forces. Instantly, all of Shan's injuries are healed. The healing process seems so familiar to him that he realizes his memories are not false. It now dawns on him that he is stronger than ever. Seeing him withstand the fire attack from the dragon makes Liz think that Shan is no ordinary man and is more akin to a legend. The dragon roars again and then dashes towards him. Before it touches him, he uses black flame on the dragon. A dark flame engulfs the left side of the dragon's face, putting it in agony. This enraged the creature, which attacks again by trying to claw him. Shan evades and readies his sword. With instinct, he envelopes his sword with the black flamer. Instinctively, he knows the name of the move is called Primordial Secret Sword. With his slash, the flame spreads, engulfing the dragon's entire body with it. With his defeat, his level decreased to -3, and he acquired a new error skill. He worries about not knowing what his new error skill can do, but finds conviction in knowing he has reached a new level by dropping into the negatives. Later, Shan and Liz got out of the dungeon and walked the street together. He asks Liz why she is following him. The girl says with full commitment that she will go with him wherever he goes. It makes Shan uncomfortable that he is being admired so much, since he does not think he is worthy of her thanks. Still, he sees no real reason to send her away and does not mind her company. Shan recalls picking up the monster drops after he defeated the dragon, and how he realized at that moment that it would be smarter to keep quiet about defeating the void dragon. He wonders how he must now proceed with his leveled down abilities and discovery of forgotten memories. He decides that the first thing he needs to do for now is cash in the materials he got from the dungeon at the guild. Liz realizes what he is thinking and tells him that he does not need to go to the guild since she can take care of him. Shan hears passersby talking about a rumor of a dragon of immeasurable level appearing. It worries him that the rumors will get out of hand. Liz tells him that she will keep quiet about him defeating the void dragon. Shan is shocked when she realizes instantly what he is thinking and finds that she is sharper than he was led to believe. He smiles back at her and thanks her for keeping his secret. Later, the duo arrives at the Adventurers Guild. The moment Shan enters, people start talking about him and how pathetic he is for still being an adventurer despite his weak skill. Liz finds the people rude for openly talking about him, but Shan does not mind and asks that she ignore them. It reminds him that he should keep quiet about his error skills. He goes to the receptionist's table to exchange the materials he got from the dungeon for cash. The receptionist checks his records first. It worries Shan that this might lead her to finding out about the void dragon. The receptionist informs him of the powerful monster reported near the dungeon he went to, and also informs him that Gaza has not come back yet. She is relieved to see that Shan is okay. A mysterious voice suddenly yells at the receptionist to wait. Everyone in the guild sees a magic circle appear above them. Black lightning strikes down, and at the spot in the land appears a beautiful woman. Shan recognizes her as the S-rank sword adventurer known as Yuri the Phantom, one of the most powerful adventurers alive who specializes in casting illusions. Yuri tells the receptionist about the monster sighting and how she found no monster when she got to the dungeon. She continues to say that all she found were a bunch of dead blood wolves scattered around. Her eyes go to Shan, and she asks him if he knows anything about where the void dragon went. Her fragrance lets Shan know that she is dangerous. A guy tells Yuri that there is no way Shan could take down a dragon since he is a guy who possesses that level of skill and would not be able to even take on a pack of blood wolves. Yuri smiles at the guy, only to glare at him the next second. With a simple stare, the guy feels like he is being choked. She does not care that the guy is agonizing and refocuses on Shan again. Shan denies knowing anything about anything she is talking about. Yuri seemingly accepts his answer, only to rush at him with a sword. He is about to block her, only to realize that the woman in front of him is an illusion and that Yuri is actually behind him. He takes out his sword, coats it with black flame, and then blocks her strike. Yuri is glad to see his unusual power. She continues on the offensive. Shan blocks her next strike, only for her to reappear at his side. She demands to know what he is hiding so hard. She assures him that she is an ally of justice and is tracking the mastermind behind the monster incidents. She threatens to finish him off if he just so happens to be on the side of the mastermind. Shan looks around to see that people are shocked by the power he has shown. He finds that he has no choice but to unleash his second error skill. Now that Shan's power has been exposed to the public, he feels like he has no choice but to go all out. He unleashes his second error skill, called Law of Attack, and swings his sword. Yuri blocked his attack, but she could tell that his power spiked. She gets taken aback, and she steps back away from him. The people watching are shocked that a nobody like Shan is able to hold his own against Yuri. Among the crowd is Liz, who looks smug, hearing the others praise her lord. Yuri smiles that she has come across a worthy adversary. Meanwhile, Shan is feeling his new ability and how it boosted his attack power. He checks his status and sees that he is 10 times more powerful than his normal strength. He wonders how this is possible when attack power does not usually change unless one levels up. Yuri puts her finger near her mouth, which suddenly transports Shan to a chaotic village being destroyed by monsters. The villagers running away from the monsters pass Shan by like he is a ghost. He realizes that Yuri is showing him a realistic illusion. Yuri is among the chaos of the village, observing Shan. She is impressed that he managed to assess the situation calmly. She can tell from how used he is to the carnage-filled scene that he is probably not an informant for the enemy side. It leads the woman to take him out of the illusion and apologize for being suspicious of him as an enemy. She came to realize that he is just a man who wanted to avoid trouble. Now that they are not fighting, she praises him for being able to stand toe-to-toe with her in battle. She also releases the one she magically suffocated. She apologizes to the man, but in a threatening manner. The man still feels so scared around her that he and his companion run away. To apologize to Shan, she promises to do something nice for him. She asks that they take a seat for her to explain things. Shan, Liz, and Yuri sit down at a table, but all the men in the guild line up at their table to plead for Yuri's affection. She tells the men that she will give them attention in about 10 years, so they back away from their table to give them space. Yuri then goes on to ask Shan to go out with her. The crowd suddenly gets silenced. Rise objects and tells her she can't just tell him that out of public decency. She corrects herself and says that what she actually meant is that she wants him to work with the elite organization of Leventon. Shan reviews that Leventon is the kingdom's most prestigious organization, filled with only S-rank adventurers. In recent years, error monsters with immeasurable levels, like the Void Dragon, have been appearing. They are so powerful that even one of these error monsters can wipe out an entire town or village. Leventon is the elite organization formed as a countermeasure. Shan asks why she wants him when his power level has dropped to the point that he is the absolute worst of E rank. Yuri says it does not matter if he was the one who brought down the Void Dragon. She says that since error monsters are so powerful, she is always willing to scout anyone who has the slightest hint of potential. Shan still feels off about the whole thing, especially since he is uncomfortable that he is being recruited in front of a large crowd. Yuri tells him that being recruited to Leventon is the highest honor, and so every adventurer watching them right now is jealous. He reminds him that this is an opportunity for him to get back at all the people who looked down on him up until now. Shan hears all their whispers about how they are jealous that he is being scouted by Leventon. He remembers how he was so alone before because no one believed in him. He admits that he is happy just to be recognized. He remembers the day when his father was about to go outside the door, and he was just a little boy begging him to stay. His father tells him that it was unfortunate that he had to go, but promises that he will come back for him someday. He ran to get to his father and begged him to stay with him. It reminds him that he still holds the promise of finding his father someday. Yuri assumes that Shan has accepted her offer and holds his hand for them to leave together. Everyone is jealous as the woman wraps herself around him. Shan regrets to tell her that he does not accept her offer. Suddenly, Shan gets weaker, and he can tell that it is Yuri's doing. The woman gently puts him in an embrace and tells him that she just has to take him by force. Shan can tell that he is in a trance in the way his head is all foggy, and can tell that it is Yuri who is doing it to him. A goddess-like image of Yuri appears before him and is tempting him to come with her. The illusion is so overwhelming that it puts him on his knees. Shan calmly tells Yuri that while he is honored by her invitation, he can't accept it because there is something else he needs to do. The woman is surprised that he is able to escape her illusion and talk to her. Liz pulls Shan back away from Yuri and tells the woman to step back and stop her pestering. Yuri gives in to forcing him and asks instead what he knows about why the Void Dragon appeared. Shan is curious about the mystery himself. He reviews how, when he encountered the dragon, he did not sense its presence coming, and wonders why that is. Yuri shares that according to the Leventon investigation, they figured out that the Void Dragon would appear in town. However, now that it has happened, it frustrates her that they still have no idea who the mastermind is. Shan realizes that the reason she has been on edge is that she is desperate to go after the error monsters. Shan then sees two men enter the guild door and recognizes them as Gaza's entourage. Suddenly, they all sense a tremble. It turns out, giant golems have appeared in the streets and are causing chaos and carnage. Adventurers face them, but no matter what they do, their strikes just pass through them like they are ghosts. The golem strikes and their attacks land. It is not long until everyone gets overwhelmed by the number and destructive offense. Shan sees how attacks are just passing through the monsters and wonders why that is. Yuri uses an appraisal stone to look at the golem's stats, only for their levels to mysteriously not be shown. Yuri declares that error monsters are invading and that this time, there are too many to count. She activates a spell, creating hologram clones of herself. With her sense of justice, she pulls out her blade and rushes into danger. All of her clones jump into battle with her. She looks so intimidating in her rage that Shan is getting scared of her. Shan looks towards people in danger and sees more golems coming. He tells Liz to guard others from danger while he faces the monsters. A boy screaming for help is just about to be reached by a golem from behind. Shan gets in between him and the monster and then blocks the monster's punch. With a slicing motion, his blade breaks its stone fist. He then tells the boy to run. The boy runs away while thanking him as he does. More golems arrive in front of Shan. He checks his status window to see that his EP is being drained fast by his black flame. He determines that he has no stamina to take down every golem one at a time and must hit them all with one black flame magic. Shan then looks at Yuri's battle with the other golems and sees that the monsters are not passing through her attacks like before. Meanwhile, the golems after him chase him down. They all punch at him, so he blocks with his sword. They are so strong that his HP is being chipped down despite him technically not getting any direct damage. The child he saved before worries that he is getting overwhelmed. A golem finally sends him flying with its punch. Despite being overwhelmed, Shan is confident he has them right where he wants them. He determines that the golem's skill is not to teleport or turn into ghosts, but simply to move at ultra-fast speeds in a straight line. Now that they are all lined up in a row in front of him, he sees that they can no longer use their skill effectively. He activates Black Flame. Having gotten the golems in a direct line, Shan casts Black Flame magic, which strikes all of his intended targets. The people he saved, and even Yuri, are amazed at this display of power. The two goons are witnesses too and can't believe it. Yuri sees that it is not just the power that is amazing, but his strategic thinking during the fight. Her suspicion that he is no ordinary person has now been confirmed. Shan, meanwhile, sees that he has now become level 4. His maximum EP has gone up to 90, and he has gained the third error skill called Revenger Curse. He wonders what that is and then learns that as his curse keeps getting lifted, detailed explanations of the error skills are now visible. The Revenger Curse returns the same damage one receives to the opponent. Shan wonders if the curse lifting is what the other person was talking about. He is still absorbing this new information when the kid he saved calls him. He extends his hand and thanks the hero who saved him. Shan is touched and then gives the kid a handshake. Later that evening, the mayor arrives and is in tears. He thanks Shan profusely since Shan saved his precious granddaughter. He offers the young hero a drink, which Shan looks hesitant to accept. Yuri tells him not to be shy, as he did a legit heroic deed. Liz seconds the motion, stating that he is a wonderful person. She calls for another round, and they all drink happily. The dudes are watching from a nearby table, and are jealous to see him surrounded by so many women. They speculate that Shan must have cheated, but the boy he saved screams at them. He tells them not to make fun of Shan, and that they should be ashamed. They try to answer back, but the kid keeps talking. He tells them they should not be saying bad stuff about others. He says they should know since they are both adults. Shan overhears this and laughs. He is also glad that peace has returned. Yuri has a sip of wine and then asks if he remembers what she said earlier. She says she didn't sense any suspicious presence, but error monsters still appeared. She asks if it was the same with the Void Dragon. Shan looks back and sees that she is right. Gaza wasn't the one summoning them. He then asks her how she knew that error monsters would appear here. Yuri smiles and says they often appear near where they previously appeared. She is not sure why this is the case though. Shan wonders if it is just a coincidence or if something is controlling events. He then seems to realize something. He quickly gets up and asks Yuri to come with him, saying he might have overlooked something big. Meanwhile, Gaza's companions are inspecting the destroyed golems. They note that it seems to only be displaying half its original power. It was the same case with the Dragon Void. They wonder if it takes time for them to synchronize with this world. They are still speculating when they suddenly have to take out their swords and block an attack. Shan has arrived at their location and pushes them backwards with his strike. He says he knew they were plotting something. One of the goons says he should have put up a people-repelling barrier. Yuri remembers them as they were both at the guild. Shan explains that they are Gaza's lackeys. He figured out that error monsters aren't natural phenomena, but are, like, orchestrated. In both cases, the people who were present at the location were these two guys. They were hiding behind Gaza, who possessed monster summoning skills. The two are listening to Shan and are impressed. Even though they deliberately left clues, they still praise him for finding them. Yuri is surprised to hear that they did it deliberately. One of the goons says they are heartbroken too after losing Gaza. He is planning to talk more, but Yuri has heard enough and rushes forward to attack. She moves swiftly, giving him no time to react or avoid her strike. She says she hates noisy men and says he should stay quiet, as we see that she has buried a long dagger right in his face. Yuri had just struck her opponent in the face with a dagger. His face starts to crack and then breaks like glass, revealing her enemy's real appearance. Yuri sees that his attack also did no damage. Carla laughs and says Yuri uses some strange magic. He never thought she would get to meet an S-rank adventurer. He is also surprised that Shan was able to see through their disguises before mentioning that he is Mr. Pharaoh's son after all. This triggers Shan as he demands to know why they are familiar with his father's name. Carlo is about to answer, but his companion stops him, saying he should not reveal too much. Shan's anger has been kindled and a black aura starts emanating from him. He looks them directly in the eyes and tells them to spill everything they know. We then see him as a child begging his father not to leave. His dad listens and then pats his son's head. He says he won't ask for forgiveness, but that he needs to do this to the evil god. Shan clings to his dad and screams that he wants to be an adventurer with his father. Ever since that day, he vowed to get stronger and to find his dad no matter what. He trains hard while others take pity on him for being abandoned. Some people even start mocking his father for thinking he could actually erase monsters from the world. Shan hears all the gossip and is filled with anger. He remembers Gaza kicking him and then making fun of his dad. There was no way he was actually the world's strongest swordsman and was probably dead. Shan refuses to believe this, but Gaza strikes him again. Shan remembers how helpless he used to be as he gives his enemies a chance to answer his question. The aura around him gets stronger as his enemy replies that he should just give up and stay quiet. Shan then moves at him at such a quick speed that he is caught off guard. He is barely able to shield himself with his hands as Shan strikes him hard, sending him flying backwards. Carlo is surprised and then smiles and finds it amazing. Shan is dead serious now and tells Yuri not to interfere in his fight. He vows to take them both down himself. The S-rank hero, meanwhile, is still absorbing the information she learned. Carlo is not scared though, and snaps his fingers. Dark energy appears from the ground, and numerous golems emerge. Shan is unfazed and ready to fight as Carlo commands his monsters to all attack at once. Shan, though, seems to move at lightning speed and quickly cuts through the monsters. Yuri is shocked, while Carlo sees that this will be tougher than he thought. He gets ready to draw his swords while his companion tells him to stop fooling around. If they keep this up, Mr. Pharaoh's might get mad at them. Shan is once again surprised and asks why they keep mentioning his father's name. Carlo chuckles and tells him to just forget what he heard. Shan is once again on him in an instant and delivers a powerful slash. He is filled with rage, but then sees that something is wrong. The men he just struck were clones. He hears something and looks up. His opponents are actually on the roof of a house watching. They are surprised themselves that there is actually someone capable of beating their clones. Carlo's companion is annoyed, saying they shouldn't have provoked him. Shan stares at them, but Carlo tells him that if he really wants answers, he should ask Yuri. He should think about why she attacked him earlier. His companion again tells him to stop, as he is giving away too much information. Carlo listens and then prepares a spell, stating they have got what they came for. A portal opens in front of them, and they prepare to leave. Shan sees that they are planning to escape and uses his speed to jump. Carlo realizes it, but before he can act, Shan is already between them and the portal. He delivers a powerful slash that the two just barely avoid. They are both caught unprepared, as they had zero idea Shan would be this fast and strong. The young hero keeps up the attack as he tells them that they are his to defeat. Shan maintains the aggression, but his opponent turns into a ghost and phases through the wall. Don looks annoyed while the young hero is caught off guard. His enemy is impressed but says he is too weak. Undeterred, Shan turns his attention to his other enemy. Carlo laughs, saying he got too cocky, and raises his hand to cast a spell. Shan sees it and quickly casts Black Flame magic, which meets the Black Thunder midway. There is a big explosion as the spells neutralize each other. Shan wonders if this is a lightning magic skill, as he has never heard of jet black lightning before. It might even be similar to his Black Flame. Carlo, meanwhile, has now confirmed that he is capable of using the same power from the other side as them. Shan wonders what is going on. His enemies are equally surprised, as it is unheard of for someone to awaken this level of power on their own. Dawn asks Shan if he would consider coming with them. The young hero is angered at the suggestions and replies that they should be the ones surrendering. He charges at them while Carlo laughs at his companion's failed attempt at negotiation. He then says that they now have no choice but to kill him. Shan attacks again, but Carlo blocks his attack as his dagger seems to teleport. He thrusts it at Shan's eye, but the young hero is able to jump back in the nick of time. He wonders what just happened as Carlo wonders if he really is the pharaoh's son. Shan moves into a different stance and then tries a wide slash. Carlo vanishes from in front though and rematerializes behind him. Shan realizes he can't win by normal means, but then gets an idea. Yuri dashes forward to help, but he tells her to stay back and that he is fine. He unleashes his full dark aura and then challenges his two opponents to come right at him. Carlo is impressed at this display of power, but finds it all a bit reckless. Dawn says not to underestimate him and that they should use their strongest attack. Carlo likes the idea of going out with a bang, and they both begin charging up. Dawn then swings his weapon, and a multitude of swords appear around him. Shan stands his ground, waiting for their attack. Carlo says that this mountain of swords will be combined with his ability to transport items. He snaps his finger, and the swords all appear above Shan in an unavoidable rain of death. The swords fall down on the young hero as Yuri screams in panic. Shan, though, is just absorbing the attacks and even moves forward, allowing even more swords to slash his body. Dawn and Carlo suddenly look concerned as they realize something is up. The Error Skill Revenger's curse is then activated, and slash wounds start appearing all over Dawn and Carlo. They receive the same amount of damage as Shan, who is still walking towards them. Dawn is filled with disbelief that he could use this skill, while Carlo starts laughing maniacally, realizing they have been outsmarted. Shan is now right in front of them and raises his sword. He delivers the finishing blow, the God of Fire attack, which strikes them both, ending the battle. Yuri is amazed to see this and then casts a binding spell on the two enemies. Dawn bursts out in laughter, stating that Lord Pharaoh's son did not disappoint. He says it is a shame as there is a better path, but Shan gives him a neck chop, cutting him off. He stands victorious above his enemies and says they are both getting on his nerves. The battle was over, and the two intruders were unconscious on the ground. However, quickly Shan's hair turned dark and his breathing grew ragged. Finally, the young man succumbs to his exhaustion and falls to Yuri's arms. Despite nearly dying himself, he worries about her first. The things he just did were out of the norm, and she recognizes the power he just used. He gestures to the people on the ground, worried that they might wake up, so she assures him that she's already on it. Already accustomed to it, the S-Ranker immediately called guild members as soon as they noticed something. That said, they arrived just a tad too late as usual. The generous woman offers him a large bottle and says it's her superior health recovery potion. Seeing him hesitate, she offers to help him drink it directly, but he urgently declines and quickly chugs down on the red contents. As soon as he consumes the potion, his wounds heal and he quickly feels better. Considering how casually she gave him the expensive medicine, he made sure to thank her. Yuri gets straight to business and asks if they can privately talk about what just happened. After all, the aftertaste would be bad if they leave it all at that. There's something she wants to tell him about his missing father. In a closed room later on, Shan is in disbelief as he's told that his father is behind the error monsters, and it's worse that it's coming from her. The S-Ranker understands his feelings, but Levitin reached a conclusion 5 years ago. It's the reason she was initially wary of him when they met, and the people from earlier also hinted at Pharaoh's involvement. From now on, the organization's investigation on him will probably intensify even further. It's undoubtedly shocking, but can't be helped. The boy's father was a skilled adventurer everyone knew. Even among S-Rankers, he was exceptionally strong, and they couldn't defeat him in spars, even if they all banded together. However, from the day he fought the evil lord, things changed. Yuri apologizes, saying she at least wanted to tell him this personally. While she tries to ease him into it, he speaks flatly, understanding the situation. Scouting him for Levitin wasn't just because of the Void Dragon, but to keep him under surveillance. Her silence confirms it. The odd young man can't be allowed to hide things just as his father did. In the end, they're all just trying to do the best for their nation, but she won't force him to accept her recruitment offer. He recalls Carla's provocation, telling him to ask Yuri if he wants any more details. However, there's no need for consideration, and he personally asks to join Levitin. His conclusion shocks her. If she's pursuing his father, then their interests align, as Shan has also been continuing as an adventurer to meet the parent that disappeared. Before she could respond, Liz suddenly burst into the room, struck and nearly bawling her eyes out. With a worried expression, she asks if he's going somewhere. The drunk girl clings to him, rejecting the idea that he'd go somewhere without her. Not minding him, she calls to the S-Ranker and asks that she be inducted into the elite organization as well. Fortunately, anyone is allowed to join as long as they pass the recruitment test. She brightens up in a drunken haze, certain she can win with her power. Worried, he questions her confidence and smug expression, and even Yuri agrees that she might not be as normal as she seems. While she looks like a goofy little girl, Liz is far more peculiar than others out there. Silencing the two, she announces that they'll depart tomorrow, eliciting the drunk girl's disappointed cries. As Shan agrees with the older woman, she feels betrayed but tries to shut it down and unexpectedly declares her love for the young adventurer. For that reason, she's willing to do anything to make his happiness come true. The sudden confession makes him blush and stutter, and Yuri can't help but smile as she watches the two squabble. It's a good thing for him to have a cute supporter nearby. Returning to the topic, she confirms that his resolve hasn't changed despite it all. With a determined expression, he promises to join Levantin and uncover his father's mystery. Convinced and believing in him, she agrees to work hard together, not wanting to consider Pharaoh's an enemy either. On that note, Shan tells his father to wait for him, as he'll be catching up to him soon enough. Soon enough, the group reaches Levantin's headquarters city, Windsor. It was busy with stalls and bustling with people. Looking around, it was obvious that today was not a normal day. Yuri explains that the organization's open recruitment test has become a local attraction. She chuckles, seeing Shan's nerves from the crowd get the better of him. The test involves a duel with the examiners, and people come from far away to watch this. With that said, there's no need for him to worry, since she survived her attacks after all. Liz finally chimes in, brightly saying that there must not be any monsters like Yuri. The S-ranker is stunned, not expecting to be so blatantly called a monster to her face. Moving on, she leads them to the headquarters reception area. The building was huge, almost comparable to a royal castle. As soon as they entered, a couple of staff members rushed to greet them. The women quickly gather around Yuri, welcoming the top member back. They've been waiting for her, after hearing that she's captured an enemy executive of unknown identity. Shan then chimed in and asked who the girls were. Despite his smile, they respond with hostility, indignant that he's speaking so casually to their sister. The S-ranker explains that he's the one mentioned in her report and was going to take the admission test. They continue to take jabs at the unremarkable child, insisting that he must have stolen her achievement. This time, it's Liz's turn to respond, offended by how they're speaking about him. He doesn't mind at all, already used to being treated that way because of his skill. Unfortunately, this just prompts them to pile onto the insults, but their rude behavior towards her personal invitees finally pushes Yuri to the edge. A short warning paired with a threatening smile is all it takes. The two receptionists feel a chill on their spines, and they immediately apologize and change their tones. Without wasting any more time, the test takers are guided into the next room. Upon going through the door, they encounter another staff member who says she's been waiting for their arrival. She's heard about their situation from Yuri and encourages them to ask anything freely. Moving towards Liz first, she hands the young lady a booklet to help explain. As she was about to take the materials into her hands, Shan noticed something odd and couldn't shake the strange feeling. He sees the woman smile and immediately confirms his suspicions. He alerts his friend, who's also realized that they have fallen for a trap. Unfortunately, it was too late, and the staff had taken her hostage, putting a knife to her neck. The young man tries to fight back, but is ordered to drop his sword first and foremost. Seeing the blade on his companion's skin, he grits his teeth, nearly snarling as he questions her intentions. She says he still isn't thorough enough, despite his commendable skills. Her transformation skill can change her completely, including her vocal cords and fingerprints. Infiltrating by impersonating a staff member was not a challenge to her at all. Still unable to do anything, he just asks if she's one of Carla's comrades. This saves her some time, as it confirms that she and Don were captured a while ago. Well aware of what had happened, she ordered him to reveal where the two were taken. He tries to feign ignorance, but the situation doesn't really allow him to go that route. Again threatening to kill the girl on the spot, she demands full cooperation. Liz screams bravely, telling him not to listen to the hostage taker. However, he can't risk her life, so he sheathes his sword and agrees to do what's ordered. The woman feels triumphant, and he's told to drop his weapon for now. Although he's seemingly obedient, the look in his eyes alerts Liz to a hidden plan. Just then, a fiery power enveloped her body, filling her with strength. Both women realized what was happening, and his comrade recognized the aim behind his actions. With a loud scream, she grips the arm that was around her shoulders and quickly throws the imposter down to the ground. The unexpected strength takes her by surprise, and Shan chuckles at the sight of his successful plan. It was a gamble, as he didn't know if the principle of attack skill could be passed on to others. She's even more surprised, not thinking that he actually did it on purpose. He moves in and swings to end it all in one go, sending her crashing hard into the wall. With this, there are no other suspicious presences nearby, but they might also be hiding like she did. The young man screams, alerting everyone about the situation, and even asks for help in any way. Witnessing his quick response, the woman can't help but smile. She commends the two for doing so well, and announces that they passed the preliminary test. The two confused applicants are told that the hostage-taking was also part of the exam. Surprisingly docile all of a sudden, the woman apologizes for surprising them. Shan sighs in relief, but already has an idea of why they were specifically being tested. Levantin cannot blindly accept someone who could be an enemy informant. Would he betray them for the other side, and could he overcome the crisis on top of that? Those were the questions the double test was set up for. He starts to sulk, now understanding why they're considered an elite organization in the kingdom. Fortunately, he's remarkably quick-witted, and Liz did extremely well too. The girl gives her usual bright smile, saying she's used to it. That said, that stage was only a preliminary, and the real test starts in a bit. The challenges from then on won't be so forgiving, and they should be prepared to face them. Outside, the arena roared with cheers as the sounds of metal clashed. Hopeful applicants fell to the examiners, and the cheering grew even louder. It was more intense and electrifying than Liz expected it to be. There are tons of spectators gathered to watch matches against active A rankers. Wasting no time, the next challenger is called on and introduced as Yuri's personal recommendation. It's time for Shan's exam. With a determined gaze, the young man sets forth. As soon as he passes the gates, the blinding glare of the sun hits him. The arena itself was an amazing sight to behold, but he had to get through it nonetheless. Getting right to it, the host calls the examiner and is about to introduce a capable-looking man when they suddenly hear a piercing sound from above. Similarly confused, the people looked around and screamed in shock as a flaming beam came crashing down in the middle of the stage. Debris and rubble flew around from the dynamic entrance, and the newcomer stretched his limbs, glad he came in just in time. A dashing and suave young man named Asta appeared. The examiner questions why he's there, saying he's the one handling the test. Apparently, he flew all the way from the desert after hearing rumors about an interesting guy there. The audience gasps as the said desert is 2 weeks away by carriage. Moving on, he addresses Shan and says he's joining the exam and turning it into a 2-on-1. It's a bewildering order, so much more so when he says that refusal will immediately result in his application failing. It's unprecedented and unexpected, but it seems he has no choice. The crowd watched in anticipation, wondering how the challenger was going to respond. Even the real examiner knows it's unreasonable, as fighting an S-ranker was surely too much, even for someone who came with Yuri's personal recommendation. Keeping his eyes on the young man, Asta directly asks if he agrees with everyone else. Surprisingly brave, the applicant tells them to come at him at the same time. It's the only way forward if he wants to uncover his father's mystery as soon as possible. The examiner is surprised, more so when he agrees to the terms and rules, without any objections. He warns the boy that he's underestimating the adventurer far too much. Just then, Asta reaches his limit and tells him not to interfere, especially since the challenger is okay with it. Met with a threatening glare, the A-ranker has no choice but to step back. Just then, power surged throughout his body, manifesting in different forms. Shockwaves from his sheer mana reached the audience, who were now silently covering their bodies from the rubble. Shan had heard of this from somewhere. Each person receives one skill, and there are rare but miraculous instances of people receiving multiple. Asta is exactly that genius, who not only has one skill, but has mastered 4 elements already. He smiles, saying Shan has traces of pharaohs just as he expected. Quickly earning his provocation, he looks forward to the type of battle that the son of the legendary adventurer will show all of them there. As soon as they started, he used superhuman techniques and mixed 4 attributes into one spell. As the wild power surged forward, Shan pushed his hand in retaliation, activating his black flame magic. The 2 powers clashed, sending the arena into an uproar as excess mana struck the area. As the dust and smoke settled, the audience saw the 2 men clashing with their swords. Asta was thrilled by how his magic was cancelled out and asked about his opponents. Receiving a vague answer, he provokes the boy more, sharing that his father used power they couldn't understand or beat. They'd push each other back, and Shan notes how well informed the people there seemed to be about his father. Since he's still hellbent on finding the missing old man, Asta has decided to humor him and share what he knows about pharaohs if he somehow loses the match. Not wasting any time, the young man charged in with all his power, closing the gap in an instant and attacking the unsuspecting champion. In his white-haired form, Shan suddenly sped up and increased his strength, all aggressive from his opponent's provocation. While Asta is able to defend, he continues his barrage, demanding answers in that moment. His speed was incredible and a sight to behold. Since he's going all out, he's given one small service in respect for his fighting spirit. To his surprise, he hears that his father was the founder of Levanton. This pushes him over the edge even more, and he swings his sword with all his might. The information is difficult to accept and understand, as pharaohs never told him anything. Asta chuckles upon realizing this, and says he needs to defeat him if he wants to hear more. Just then, the original examiner chimes in, saying he'll join as well. However, the elite adventurer's gaze was telling, and a chill ran down the man's spine. He thought it'd be more interesting, but considering the things that happened, he knocks the examiner down, wanting to fight one-on-one instead. The others are in shock as they watch him fall to the ground, completely unconscious. Once more, Asta announces that the match will be a duel, and his application will be accepted if he wins alone. However, it didn't get easier just because things were no longer 2-on-1. Since the young applicant is fighting so well, he'll return in kind and fight with all he has as well. His fiery passion burns the arena, and it's commendable how much he enjoys the battle. He tells Shan to come and be prepared for a serious opponent. Not willing to be intimidated by his power, the error adventurer charged in with his blade. He swings his weapon down, just barely missing its swift target. As expected, Pharaoh's son has decent swordsmanship. However, he's a complete amateur when it comes to magic and doesn't know how to fight it. Completely open from the wide swing, the young man gets hit directly with a lightning spell. The shock forces him to stop in his tracks. The essence of swordsmanship lies in stepping forward, but now he's lost his footwork. What happens next is as expected, and he gets knee-driven right into his gut. The hit is strong enough to send him back a few meters, just one step away from falling out of the arena and losing. However, Asta was not one to waste time, and was already charging in for the follow-up. Shan curses, still unable to move his numb legs from being electrocuted moments ago. Without much choice, he pushes his hand forward and casts his black arrow flames. His opponent was already waiting for this, and his choice only confirms the suspicion that the magic he can use is extremely limited. The battle veteran activates his wind magic and uses it to disperse his flames, which were now uncontrolled. This is easily done, as changing the path of fire with strong winds is common knowledge for mages. The gap between their experience is shown quite clearly, and the challenger does not even have a chance to counterattack. Against one of the strongest, even the anticipated rookie is at a disadvantage. Asta clicks his tongue, having wanted to enjoy things a bit more before finishing. Saying it's too early for him to join Leviton, he dashed in to end the match. Just then, Shan's gaze changed into something eerily fierce, alerting the S-ranker's senses. Suddenly, he was moving past the paralysis and swinging the Kagetsuchi with all his strength. Sent flying from the sheer force, Asta tries to fight back and shoots lightning at him again, but they failed to get through the challenger's barrier of flames, which was completely protecting his body. The whip makes him smile, and their blades clash once more. The audience gasps, astounded to see the top ranker fall to the ground. Although the reactions are mixed, it was an unexpected reversal that drew screams. Asta gets back on his feet, grimacing from the damage he took. As battle-crazed as always, he laughs it off and praises his opponent. With extraordinary control, he absorbed his flames and increased his attack power. This was unthinkable earlier, and it's obvious that he grew during their battle. With that said, his flames begin to subside. After all, just cladding himself in that power would drain a normal person's stamina instantly. He has no intention of giving up despite this and grips his weapon tight. While he's still rough around the edges, Shan might actually be able to outwit his father. As he was trying to understand what that means, Asta suddenly concedes and announces his loss. The entire arena is silent except for a collective gasp. After a moment, reality hits, and everyone finally lets their shock out. The crowd erupts from the massive upset, and Shan emerges as the victor of the completely unreasonable match. From the sidelines, Liz cheers for her friend out loud, and Yuri sighs in relief as her comrade keeps making her nervous. Meanwhile, the surprised challenger asks why he gave up, when he likely has strength left. Not everyone would notice, but if Asta actually got serious, then the entire area would be eradicated by his power. It's quite the claim, but aside from that, a test asking an applicant to beat an S-ranker is simply irrational. With that said, the young man's recruitment is confirmed with this victory. He congratulates the new Leviton member. Moving on, he asks the newbie to come to his private room after this. As he wished, they'll be talking about his missing parent. The ceremony goes on for a while, and Shan heads straight to Asta after. Getting right to the point, he asks about his father, wanting to hear everything they know. Asta still can't believe it. A decade ago, pharaohs assassinated the country's crown prince. 12 years into the past, the young adventurer was battling a chimera monster, and was getting badly beaten at that. With his body bruised and injured, his end was just about approaching. He thinks about his little sister, and what might happen to her if he's gone. The enormous beast roared and gathered magic into its maw. It seems his time has come, and his sister will be left alone. Just then, an odd flame blazed, cutting right through the enemy's body and magic. He was saved. It was the first time he met pharaohs, who then checked on his condition. Without hesitation, he tosses the boy a bottle and tells him to use it. It was an X potion, an extremely expensive recovery item, and it was being given so casually. Not minding, the man says they're in what used to be an enemy research facility. Before Asta could pry and ask any more questions, his savior lights a match and tosses it over to the beast's body. He's shocked as it immediately began to catch flame. Protesting, he says the subjugation won't be recognized if the head isn't brought back to the guild. Pharaohs apologize, but since the chimera was an error monster, the danger of regeneration, unless exterminated, was extremely high. Seeing the beast writhe and attempt to recover, Asta accepts the explanation right away. It's an existence that came from outside their world and can eradicate countries. The adventurer cuts it into pieces in an instant and follows up by burning the chunks with his signature flames. The young man was in absolute awe, witnessing such incredible swordsmanship and unique magic for the first time. He calls out and basically begs to be taken as his disciple, insistent on learning all he can from the skilled warrior. Pharaohs walked away back then, as his power is not one that can be mastered by those of their dimension. Asta insisted on doing so, and after that, elite adventurers were gathered and Leviton was created, not only to protect the country, but the entire world from error monsters. Shan manages a light smile, knowing it's just like his father to have such a goal. His dreams were so massive that normal people would laugh, thinking it was ridiculous, but people were strangely drawn to him, and he even drank with the king. He was everyone's idol, and provided such a bright scene to those around him. Then came the assassination of the crown prince. Asta was unilaterally informed by the country, and even Levinton was not told any details. One thing he can say for sure is that he just left a letter saying he was going. These are all the facts he can give, and nothing more. Shan still thanks him, already used to it. Similar to how he was as his father, Pharaoh's never explained anything and carried things alone. Of course, his mother was distraught when he disappeared without a word. With this, Asta also refuses to believe that the old man is an enemy. As fellow Levinton members, they can now chase after him together. The two young men agree, forming a brand new goal to reach for. Moving on, he asks Shan about his relationship with Liz. Despite how close they seem, she actually just forced herself onto his journey, and he doesn't really know her all that well. The girl struggled with the wolves back then, but was now doing well against the examiner. He can't help but be confused. While all this was happening, sweat dripped on the cold, hard ground. Carlo laughs, chained up in an underground prison and undergoing heinous torture. He glares at the authorities, saying they embody the country's ugliness. The criminal is whacked across the face once more and called a terrorist to the nation. For some reason, the smile on his face doesn't disappear. Calling to Pharaohs, his body suddenly welled with magic, as he promised to follow his beloved leader. Just then, the prison exploded. The two young men turned to Liz, who is still locked in an intense battle with her examiner. Seeing her perform so well against an A-ranker, Shan couldn't believe that it's the same person he's been with. After all, she couldn't even do anything against a low-rank wolf when he first met her. The story makes Asta laugh, understanding that the young lady must be quite the deceiver. To him, she's probably an A-ranker or higher, and it'd be impossible to struggle against weak monsters. As he says this, Liz's attack lands on the examiner, and she emerges as the victor of the match. The genius laughs out loud, delighted that she had finally won her match. That said, a thought enters his mind, seeing that she only registered her first name. He isn't able to think about it more, as they hear a huge explosion from nearby. From several streets away, they see smoke billowing out of a huge fire. People were running, escaping from what might be an attacker. Upon seeing the location of the flames, the two realized that it's where the underground prison was hidden, and is also where Carlo and Don were supposed to be. It should be an impregnable prison for heinous criminals, but impregnable doesn't seem right now. As Shan stood around, wondering if the evil people did something again, Asta was already moving. Surrounded by wind magic, he starts to levitate, rushing to get to the source and fight an interesting battle. The other young man was jealous, unable to fly unlike his peer. Since they can't afford to be late, they decide to leave Liz behind for now. The genius was zooming past the streets, leading everything in his dust, including Shan. Just then, he gets an idea and applies his empowering skill onto his legs. Before he knew it, he was leaping tens of meters forward and was able to keep up with the adventurer who was flying. As expected, the power of his kicks is also greatly increased, allowing him to cover great distances. Seeing him move from roof to roof, Asta was absolutely elated by how interesting he is. Together, the two sped towards the fire side by side, and it was as if he didn't just have a match a few moments ago. Soon enough, they reached the source of the commotion, and hear screams of terror ringing throughout the area. A horrific sight greets them. Dragons, all of which were so high-level and unappraisable, covered the sky. Despite seeing the horde of error monsters, all Asta did was squeal in delight. One smooth swing of his sword brings an entire bunch down, cutting his prey into pieces. The young man laughed maniacally, simply thrilled by the battle right in front of him. However, the monsters he just hacked into pieces began to bubble. The two looked on in surprise and watched as the injured dragons instantly regenerated, soon taking to the skies once again. Instead of being daunted, the S-ranker calls it convenient, as it'd offer him even more chances to continue fighting. As he was about to charge at another one, a familiar voice called out, saying he shouldn't have fun all on his own. Yuri appears on the battlefield, right in the middle of the dragon she just bore through. She smiles, ready to join her comrades, but is told by the bratty boy not to interfere with his playground. Unwilling to let something rampage near headquarters, she ignores his cries. After all, their enemies seem to be looking down on them. Shan is reminded of how strong the person who recruited him is, and he can't allow himself to fall behind any farther. Unsheathing his blade, he swings and tears through the dragon that was attacking from behind. However, since its ability is division, the two halves regenerate into separate wholes. He only has a few mana points left, but he has to do what he can with it. With Kagetsuchi, he cuts the beast with flames that stop it from reviving. Asta was similarly impressive, as he continued to fire magic without damaging the city. However, there were simply too many enemies. Fortunately, the dragon he just slayed gave him enough points to level up, boosting his mana and unlocking a new skill, Time Acceleration. It's an unexpected stroke of luck. With a low cost, he's allowed to interfere with spacetime, which seems like a dangerous ability. He immediately tries it out despite being worried, as he doesn't have much of a choice. Suddenly, the world stopped. Moving past the frozen people and monsters, he grips his blade tight and unleashes a flurry of attacks. Time resumes right when he finishes, and to others, the enemy just falls to the ground in an instant. The Levinton members are surprised, seemingly recognizing the movement. With this, they pushed forward together and decided to head to the epicenter, where the monsters were coming from. Yuri offers to stay back to hold the horde off, while they strike the source of their troubles. Since he's so intent on getting information about his father, she tells Shun to force it out of them. He's surprised by the sudden encouragement, but it works and puts him on his way to the enemy. There, they see a man standing over a glowing pool, which the error dragons were emerging from. Seeing him for the first time, they immediately know that he's behind the atrocities that were going on. The fiery-looking man sighs and turns to them, annoyed that they're already there. Without missing a beat, he identifies them as Pharaoh's former disciple, and even his son. They wonder if he's one of Carla's companions, but the association to such weaklings offends him. At least, in exchange for their lives, he was given valuable information. A phoenix burned behind him, and he said that the troublesome work was almost done. The man before them seems to be an executive-class enemy. Since there are tons of things to ask him, Asta moves to restrain him right away and unsheathes his blade. The enemy, Gale, laughs at the thought of them boldly attempting to restrain him. Blazing with the flames of a phoenix, he gets ready to fight, considering it entertainment before his boss comes from the other dimension. With this, the calamitous wind tells them to give him a good time. The young man charges in swinging, but the enemy doesn't even dodge and simply raises his hand with magic. Suddenly, Asta finds himself being sent flying away. Planting his feet on the ground, he manages to keep his footing, proving his extensive battle experience. Noting how he's an S-ranker, Gale commends him for doing well. As always, the adventurer doesn't mind the arrogance at all and simply gets hyped. All fired up, he challenges the old mage to a one-on-one. Shun attempts to step in and join, knowing it's the logical and smart thing to do, but the battle-hungry adventurer couldn't help but feel a tingle upon seeing his magic. His happy-go-lucky attitude amuses the enemy, since there aren't many who can stay calm before him. Asta tells him not to praise him too much, if he doesn't want him to get all excited. In that instant, the young man appeared swinging his blade inches from his target. Gale is surprised by his speed, not expecting it, but still manages to defend against the surprise attack. He commends the boy again, delighted that people like him exist in that dimension. Meeting the adventurer's bright and willful eyes, the intruder raises his blade and tells him to consider it an honor. For the first time in decades, he's going to fight seriously, just a little bit. Asta strikes first, slashing at the target's body, but doesn't feel any resistance despite aiming well. Part of the enemy's body vanished, and he wonders if it's similar to Carla's ability. He scoffs at the comparison to the pathetic power. Everything pales with weakness in front of him as he is wind itself. Attacks can't hit his body, but he can use his power to overwhelm his opponents. Gusts of howling wind push Asta back, and he does his best to block and dodge the slashes. He's mastered the air element well, but in the face of the calamitous wind, there was nothing he could do but succumb and be thrown around like a slow turtle. Things take a turn for the worse, and the genius finally realizes that the enemy isn't an ordinary mage. Gale confirms it, again manifesting his power for all to see, and saying it's something that doesn't exist in their world. They recognize the description, but the man was already standing over Asta, ready to end his life completely. The look in his eyes was sinister, and Shun knew he had to act fast. He tries to charge in, but his companion is sent crashing into the thick wall with a kick. In the end, he's a boring and weak man, just like everyone else. Gale raises his blade to finish the job, but Shun arrives just in time to fight back. That said, his swing hits the empty space just like earlier. Since it was no good, he tries to use his black flame magic, wondering if it will work. The enemy is intrigued to see that he's using magic just like Pharaoh's. To an extent, he's also using power beyond the world, but it's yawn-inducingly weak. Gale tells him to do better as he was getting increasingly bored. Not one to give up right away, Shun leapt in again, this time using Kagetsuchi to cut through. The target's interest gradually wanes, seeing another technique used by Pharaoh's. His power is completely inferior compared to what they're working with, and a mere wave of his hand is enough to send the boy flying and crashing away. Given his lineage, Gale thought he had some backbone, but he's ending up to be a disappointment. The enemy's strength was on a completely different level from Carlo and Don. At this rate, being sent to the afterlife in an instant was no empty threat. Shun was about to be killed, but his sheer determination caught the enemy off guard. Despite being on the edge of death, his resolve to find his father only grows. No matter how challenging the obstacles are, it doesn't matter anymore. Just then, a golden light flashed, and a familiar voice spoke, saying he won't let the boy die. The world was black and white, and everything stopped moving completely. The principle of time stop is something like a superior version of his time acceleration. Behind him, a blinding and warm light shone. For the second time, Shun comes face to face with the being that gave him his power. It's been a while since they last met, and he's been steadily leveling down since then. Thanks to that, the curse has weakened, and the man can interfere with the dimension just a bit. Like before, the boy knows that they don't have much time together. Since he's fairly quick on the uptake, they make the most of their time, and his memories, which contain the key to defeating Gale, are gradually unlocked. Standing before a fallen monster, he sees a bunch of civilians thanking him and calling him by a title. In his white-haired form, he sheathes his blade. The rest of the memories rush into his mind, and he's shocked by what he sees. He's told to continue lowering his level, And once the curse is lifted, he'll be just like he was before, the sole strongest. The flow of time resumes. Gale furrows his brows, getting a strange feeling, uncannily similar to when one manipulates time. It should be impossible, but to his shock, he sees Shan's empowered form and recognizes someone familiar. The young man has always wondered about his appearance and why it comes and goes. Now, he finally understands that it's his previous life's form. Power surged around him, flowing like a controlled blaze. The enemy is obviously affected, recognizing the power. Meanwhile, he finally understands what the fragments of memories were indicating. In an instant, he appears inches away from the calamitous wind. In his old life, he was apparently the one who mastered swordsmanship to its peak and was called the Sword Saint. The memories flashing in Shan's mind must be related to that time. To Gale's surprise, the slash cuts through his body made of wind, and he actually takes damage from the hit. Since he's using time acceleration, which interferes with space-time, he can slice through space itself. But how long can he keep this power and composure up? He leapt into action, agreeing that he can't maintain this form for too long, and must end things fast. The enemy appears in his blind spot, but he defends with movements comparable to his past life. Since he's pushed to the edge, the look in his eyes changes and Gale notices what he's intending to do as well. He was going to settle things with one strike. Taking on the sword's second form, Shan stepped forward, severing space and time to unleash a flurry of cuts onto the enemy. Although suffering from several hits, the enemy smiles and commends him, as it's been a while since he last received so much damage. It was time to restrain him, but Gale was far from surrendering to a fledgling who's only started to learn about his powers. The ground beneath him burst open, and the fissures spread across the entire perimeter. Unfortunately for them, he's already achieved his objective of disposing of Carlo and Don and destroying the city. A raging phoenix made of pure flames flew out, towering over everything, and began shooting fireballs all around. Shan wants to do something, but he's already at his limit and is reverting to his normal form. The ability's backlash was hitting hard, and neither he nor Asta had the strength to keep fighting. As Gale promised to wipe the city clean, a voice rejected the idea. Countless orbs of ice magic appeared, all intercepting the fireballs shot by the phoenix. Liz appeared with a bunch of mages, who were doing their best to fight fire with ice. She apologizes for taking so long, as it took a while to gather those who were at the venue. The men are confused at first, but finally see the countless adventurers behind her, all of whom took care of the dragons and were ready for battle. Gale was infuriated, and Liz finally revealed her true identity, introducing herself as the first princess of the country.